Hi, this video is for Unit B, starting on, it looks like page Excel 26, creating complex formulas. Actually, this section is working with formulas and functions. In this section, we're just going to look at some basic formulas. We're not going to get into the complex if, else, and then statements. We're just going to look at the really basics here. We'll get into the others a little bit later in the semester. But for right now, let's just look at some basic items on there. If you remember where we ended up, we did start talking about formulas, doing basic calculations with a calculator using Excel. And if you remember correctly, all of the formulas always begin with an equal sign. Okay, so keep that in mind as we're working through these activities. The other item I want you to pay attention to is either simple formulas or complex formulas. Notice what we've been working with so far, very simplex, equals B5 plus B6, not much to it. When you get into the more complex formulas, you're going to notice that you'll have items within parentheses. These represent the argument of the statement, and it also has more than one function. So, and we'll talk about the order of operations in just a few minutes. But on this particular formula, what it's going to do is take the value of B37 and minus it by B43. And it's going to do that first because it's in parentheses. And then it's going to take the result of that calculation and divide it by whatever the value is in B37, which will give you your ending result. So this would be more of what we're looking at for a complex type of formula. So let's look at some of the functions we mentioned. We've already done some of those. We did those the last time we were in section A. We did it the equal sum. If you remember correctly, we did very, very basic on there, right? And I think we actually went up and we used the auto sum item up there, okay? But today we're going to expand a little bit further and we're going to look at the average, minimum, and maximum. So let's take a look at those. So let me go down here, and I've got a spreadsheet already started here. Now, when we're looking at doing an averages, remember what an average is. We're talking about statistics now, right? Medium, average, and mode, right? So if we wanted to find out the average test scores, taking the numbers, we would basically add up all the numbers and then divide it back into how many numbers, right? So we would be adding on this particular one, if I click on it, I already started this one, I have equals average, B23 through D23, right? So what am I doing? I'm actually taking the 91%, the 87%, and the 82%, and I'm adding all of those together, and then I'm averaging it. And basically, Excel has these functions already coded in. So it knows an average means to take the number of numbers that you're calculating and then divide it by how many there are. Right? So it actually is going to sum up the numbers and then divide it by 3. And that's how it gets that response of 87%, right? So a couple different ways that you can do this. You can actually go up into the function key up on top. It says insert function. And if you click on that, you're going to get the most recent ones that are used. I've got this set at date and time. If you click on the down, you can get the most recently used, date, sum, average, and right there's average. If we type on average and click OK, all right, what you get is a function argument box, and you can drag this out of the way. You want to get used to moving it around, so move it around the screen. It actually comes up and tells you what number 1 you want, what number 2. It's going to give you the results over here as you go along. Okay, I hit the wrong thing. Let's go back. Function, average. Okay, there we go. Over on the side here, right here, it's going to give the results as you key it in. And on the bottom, it's going to tell you exactly what the results is. And we're going to use these a lot when we get into the if, else, then statements. Okay, so what we want to do is look at, it actually tells you here what the function does. Okay, so it says returns the average of arithmetic, which can be numbers, names, arrays, or references that contain numbers. Okay, and it gives you the result. What you want to do is actually, you can key in. You never want to key the numbers. Remember I mentioned that, never key the actual numbers. You don't want to actually even key the cells. You want to actually point to them. So if I click on here, it's telling me where do I want to go? Well, I want to go here, right? So I'm going to highlight that, click and drag, and I hit enter. Okay, and now it's asking me if I want to do another one. No, I don't. So I'm going to click OK. All right. Now, if you notice what happens, it actually put that formula in there, equals average, B24 through D24. Another way to do that is exactly how we did it last time we were here with the auto sum up top. If I click on that, notice the average is on there, much easier. But notice what's happening. When I clicked on it, it was being intuitive and thinking that it wanted the numbers up top. Well, I don't want those. I want these. So I'm going to click and drag, and that actually changes it, and I'm going to hit enter. Okay, the one thing I want you to pay attention to here is see where we have the function equal average up here on top. Notice it's in parentheses. Okay, everything's in parentheses. That means that's the portion that's going to do the formula. You have to make sure that if you have a preceding parentheses, you have an ending parentheses. So just to make sure. If not, you'll get a green parentheses come up, and what that's telling you is you're missing something. So you need to figure out which ones you're missing, and you'll find that out as we move into more complex formulas. So, okay, so back to where we were last week. Remember, you can actually use the fill handle and drag those down. So that filled those in all very nice and quickly. All right, so the next thing I want to look at is that's the sum. We looked at the average. What if I wanted to know the minimum score on a particular test? Okay, I can do it by just keying in equals min, our function. I'm going to start my formula with equals, the function, and then a parenthesis, which is shift 9. Okay, and then I can highlight exactly what range I want to look at. And if I end the parenthesis and hit enter, it's going to identify what the lowest score is, min for minimum. So if you look in that column, you will notice that somebody did have a 0 on there. Okay, and I'm going to put something over here so we know what this is. We can do the same thing with maximum. Okay, so if I go equal max, and then we can do the exact same thing, right? Okay. So I know that for test 1, the minimum score, somebody got a 0, but then somebody got a 97. So let's look what happens for the rest of the other tests. So I can use my fill handle, right? Okay. So the minimum score on test 2 was 52%, and the maximum was 94%. It's a very quick way that you can actually find out what the minimum and maximums are. One thing you can also do here is if you're not sure what your formulas are, you can use what they call a control plus. You're going to hold down your control key, and then you're going to want to use the key. It's right to the left of your one key. I always call the squiggly. It's the item underneath the squiggly. If you hold the control key down and click on that, what happens is you toggle between looking at what your formulas are and looking at what your results are. So try that next time you're in your worksheet and toggle back and forth. A very powerful feature for you. So that's the last thing I want to cover on this video. I will have another video on absolutes and orders of operations, and then I'll have another video this week for advanced functions and working with more than one worksheet. So see you in the next video.